Hi everybody, welcome to the Lexus Virtual Classroom. My name is Melissa O'Connell and I'm your Lexus Technology Specialist. It is time to take a deep dive into all things Lexus GX 550. We're going to explore the GX from the outside in and back to front. Don't forget to use the time-stamped index in the description below this video. That lets you just jump through to different subjects if you prefer. And if you're watching on mobile, look for the word more somewhere below the video title. That will open the video description and you can scroll through the images of the chapters. Click View All if you'd like to see the chapters in list view. You can also see the full time-stamped index in the mobile format by clicking on More from above. When it comes to learning about the Lexus Interface multimedia system, I'm going to cover anything in the system that's specific to the GX. But for all other details about Lexus Interface, make sure to watch my Lexus Interface deep dive tutorial. When you have a vehicle with the Lexus Interface multimedia system, make sure that you set up your Lexus primary driver profile before you make any customizations on your new Lexus. So we're going to open up the Lexus app, sign in if you have an existing Lexus or Toyota account, or register and follow the full registration process if you are new to Lexus. If you already have a vehicle showing in your Lexus app and you want to remove that vehicle, just click on the picture of your vehicle and then you'll see Remove Vehicle at the bottom of the Lexus app screen. If you're keeping your current Lexus vehicle and adding another to your garage, just click right up at the top, and then you'll see the plus symbol in the top right-hand corner of your screen. You'll click plus, and then when you are on the Add Vehicle screen, you're going to pause and follow some steps on the vehicle display. Select your language of choice, and if you don't already have the Lexus app on your phone, you can scan the QR code to download the app. Otherwise, you can skip this step by pressing Continue. Coming back to our phone screen, we're going to select Scan VIN, and then you can open the driver's door and scan the VIN there. You'll see a barcode and the VIN. Once you've scanned the VIN successfully, select Add Vehicle. We'll select Connect by Code, and then enter the code shown on screen. There is a timer, so make sure that you enter the code within that time frame or just relaunch the setup process. It's common to be asked to sign back in just for verification purposes. Go ahead and do so. Once you've verified the account by signing in, the system will start to link your new vehicle to your Lexus account. You can make customizations to your preferred Lexus dealer and choose Save Changes. Once we've finished the app setup, then we'll continue on our main display. We'll see all of the connected services trials that we have for this vehicle. Choose Continue. And now we need to accept the terms for our services so that they can be activated. We'll choose Accept for the master data consent and Service Connect. And then if you're not sure if you want to use the Wi-Fi hotspot for passengers to access the internet while they're in your vehicle, you can just select Maybe Later and then Confirm. Confirm and Continue. Congratulations! Finish Setup. If you have multiple vehicles in the app garage, click up at the top on the drop-down arrow. Then you'll see the vehicles in your garage. Slide over to select the new GX. Choose Make Default if it is your preferred default vehicle. And then Select. And now you'll see your new Lexus GX on your app garage home screen. Let's finish setting up our phone's connection to the vehicle. We'll select App Setup Finished. We're being asked to connect for Bluetooth. We'll click Continue, and then on our phone, we'll come to Settings, Open the Bluetooth menu and look for Lexus GX. Click right on the words Lexus GX, and now we'll click Pair on the phone, OK on the vehicle screen, Allow on the phone for contacts and call history, and give permission for CarPlay on the phone and the vehicle. We have one other CarPlay permission that needs to pop up on our iPhone. This is an iPhone example. And we're going to click Allow, and that's going to allow our apps to mirror over to the vehicle screen. For more information about how to use Apple CarPlay and for examples for Android phones and how to use Android Auto, make sure to watch my Lexus Interface deep dive tutorial. Now we can set up the rest of our Lexus driver profile on the vehicle. If you have an Android phone connected for Android Auto, you may need to exit Android Auto and come back to the Lexus Interface menu. Just click to open the Apps menu and select Lexus, and then you'll see the Lexus Interface menu on the left-hand side. Select the Settings gear, and we'll see our current driver and any saved driver profiles on the right-hand side. And it will tell you who the primary driver is. So we can see that I am the primary driver and I am the current driver connected to the system. Let's come to Personal Info, and we'll see my Bluetooth device. So that is my phone that's connected to the vehicle. I could manage devices if I have another phone that I would like to add. If your GX has the driver attention monitor, you'll see it centered at the top of the steering column. You can set up Face ID, but before you do that, I recommend that you set up your driver position memory first, because the driver attention monitor is really looking for you to be in a safe driving position. In fact, if you have the seat too far down or too far back, you may see messages telling you to sit up or that the monitor can't see your face. And so it's not able to operate at that time. So let's go ahead and set up our driver position memory. The first thing to adjust with the driver position memory is the seat. You can move it forward, back, raise the hip point, lower the hip point, raise the front of the cushion, lower the front of the cushion, and if you have a cushion extender, you'll see this additional button. Press the front of the button to extend and the back of the button to tuck it into place and give you a lower profile at the front of the seat. You can also recline the seat back or bring it forward. There is lumbar support as well. Typically, the lumbar support is not linked to the driver position memory. So if you do make adjustments to the lumbar, whether you bring it toward you or away, and you feel like it's not saving, that's totally normal. Next, we'll adjust the steering wheel. You do need to make sure that the vehicle is turned on to operate the tilt and telescopic steering wheel. Just use the toggle to move it away, toward you, down, or up. And adjust your side view mirrors. You'll select L for left, R for right, and use the touchpad to make your adjustments. And moving up, take a look at the dash, because if your vehicle has a head-up display, that's also saved to your driver position memory setting. So let's go ahead and adjust the head-up display position. You'll come over to the controls on your main screen. Come to Settings, and scroll down to Vehicle Customize. You'll see Head-Up Display right at the top. Just click to open. You can also turn the display off here. Just turn it back on to see the additional settings. You can adjust the brightness, the theme or layout for what you'd like to see in the display. Full is going to give you the most content. You can choose standard or minimal. Press OK to save, and then make your adjustments for height. You'll see up and down arrows to raise or lower the position, and you'll also see tilt arrows, so you can slightly tilt clockwise or counterclockwise. Ideally, your head-up display position should be just below your line of sight so that you can easily look down to gather information and then look back up at the road. Make sure to note that the image that shows in the head-up display is not compatible with polarized lenses. So if you have polarized sunglasses, you will unfortunately not be able to see that projected image. Now that we know our driver profile is the active profile on the vehicle, and we've made the adjustments to our seat, steering wheel, side mirrors, and head-up display, let's go ahead and save our driving position. Come on over to the buttons on the left side of the steering wheel. When you have everything where you want it, you're going to push Set, let it go, and then push your button number 1, 2, or 3. You'll hear a beep, and then anytime you need to make a change in the future, make that adjustment and then resave. Remember that these are linked to your driver profile. So if you have the system currently in guest mode, or if a different driver profile is on the vehicle, make sure to change to your driver profile before you save your driver position memory. Now that we've set up our driver position memory, let's set up our Face ID. You'll select Set up Face, accept the terms, and if you need to remove sunglasses or hat, anything that might obstruct your face, remove those items, and then click Begin and look straight ahead. You're going to hear a couple of beeps, see success on the screen, and your Face ID is all set. And you'll see Remove Face, which definitely sounds a little weird, but that's how you would actually undo or remove the Face ID from your driver profile. So if you wanted to do that, you would just click Remove Face, confirm removal, and now you could set up Face ID again if you choose to. Keep in mind that the driver attention monitor is going to be on and operate whenever it can, whether you have Face ID set up or not, and you can turn off many of the driver attention monitor alerts if you choose. Come to Settings, select Driving Assist. Open the Driver Support menu and scroll all the way to the bottom of the list, and there you see Driver Monitor Alert. We can turn that feature off, so that will turn off most of the alerts. Notice I say most and not all. That is because if you drive with your hand at the top of the wheel, that's actually going to block the monitor. So it's not able to see your face clearly, and you're going to get an alert even when you turn off the driver attention monitor alerts. It's going to tell you that the driver attention monitor is not available, and it may even say to contact your dealer. What your dealer should tell you is bring your hands down, 10 and 2, or preferably 3 and 9. Keep that clear. Ultimately, it really wants you to be in a safe driving position with both hands safely on the wheel. And even more important than setting up Face ID is linking a key to your driver profile. That's because when you unlock the vehicle, especially from the driver's door, using the Smart Access system and a linked key, it's the best connection to your smartphone for your Lexus driver profile, especially for things like wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. So let's link a key to your driver profile. Just choose the key that you would like to link to your profile. It could be a fob or even the wallet key. Make sure only that key is in the vehicle, and then you'll toggle Link Key from off to on. If you have more than one key in the vehicle, you'll just see a message telling you that you have multiple keys in the vehicle, and make sure to remove those other keys, and then you can link your selected key to your driver profile. Another important item to set up is your Lexus security PIN. It's a 6-digit PIN that periodically will pop up on the vehicle screen. If you've never had a PIN associated with your Lexus app, the app setup process is going to ask you to create a PIN. But if you're not prompted to make a PIN, that means your Lexus driver profile has actually had a PIN set up in the past. You can change that at any time. Go ahead and click on the profile icon on the top right corner of your app screen. Then select Account and open Security Settings. Once you're in security settings, you'll be able to select Set or Reset PIN. The app is going to ask you to sign back in to verify your identity. Just choose Confirm and follow the sign-in process. If you've allowed Face ID to sign you in, you'll be signed in automatically. If not, enter your email and password for your Lexus account. Then choose your new PIN. It can be a very simple PIN, and if it is, you're going to get a warning letting you know that you have a weak PIN, it's easy to guess, and you might want to change it. That's completely up to you. You will be asked to confirm the PIN, so just enter it a second time to make sure that it's been entered correctly. So I'm making a very simple PIN just so you all can see this as an example. Now that we have our profile and driver position memory all set up, let's hop out and take a look at the exterior features of the GX. The running boards will vary depending on the package you have. You'll see fixed running boards on most GXs. Some will have that aluminum trim edge and others will be all black. But the Luxury Plus GX comes with automatic power extending running boards. When they're in the auto mode and you open a door, the running boards will slide out so you can easily just step up and into the vehicle. And a couple of seconds after closing the door, they'll tuck up and out of the way. There are even optional rock rails that can be ordered through the Lexus GX accessory program. And coming up, you'll see the fuel door. It's located at the rear of the vehicle on the driver's side. It's opened with a lever just inside the driver's door. You'll see a gas tank icon on the lever. Just lift up and the fuel door will pop open for you. Just open up, you will notice the message Premium Unleaded Fuel Only. With a turbo engine, that is very common here at Lexus. And I do like that there is a handy spot to hold the cap when you are filling up. And when you're all set, just push to close. The GX comes ready for towing. So coming around to the rear of the GX, you'll see the tow hitch receiver cover. If you take a look below, you'll see two pins or clips that snap into place to hold the cover tightly in position. To remove them, you'll need a small flathead screwdriver. You can use the screwdriver in the pack of tools from the cargo area, or just get any other small flathead screwdriver. So if you do locate the screwdriver in the pack of tools and you see that it's a Phillips head screwdriver, don't panic, just pull it apart because there's a flathead screwdriver on the other side. So you'll just use the flathead screwdriver to remove each one of these clips. So you'll see that there are a couple of notches where the screwdriver will just fit right into place. Just pop that down on each clip. May take a couple of tries. Then you'll be able to just wiggle the clips completely out. Set those aside so you can keep track of them for later. Then you're going to remove this section. So just lift out and slide down. So there are two little clips up at the top, but you shouldn't have to work hard to remove that. The next step is going to be removing this outer piece. Just get a hold of this bottom edge and pull out toward you and lift up a little bit. And then you'll see that it just pops into place so you can easily remove that. Now you can install your trailer hitch based on the manufacturer's instructions, and once you have your hitch installed, depending on the type of hitch setup that you have, you might be able to reinstall the outer hitch cover. So you'll just slide this into place, snap this together. It just gives everything a nice clean look. Locate the 7-pin plug for the lighting and trailer braking if your trailer is equipped with trailer brakes. And on this side, when you open the cover, you'll see the additional connector for trailer lights. There's also a tow mode, a trailer brake controller, and a hitch pin and safety clip in the glove box. Your trailer and hitch may come with their own pin, so just make sure that you use the correct equipment for whatever your setup is and for whatever you happen to be towing. We'll go over these towing buttons in more detail when we cover the interior features. And when you're not towing, it's always best to cover up this area. You'll just want to replace the trailer hitch cover, so you'll start at the top and clip those points in, snap it into place, and then you're going to reinstall these plugs. You want to make sure that you can squeeze these pieces together so that it will be able to pop into place. And then you'll snap this closed. So let's go for it. Locate this little plug clip, squeeze together a little bit. So you'll get the main part in first, and then just push up on that pin to hold it into place. And then do the same thing on the other side. So you'll notice the pin is going to stick out a little bit. It's not completely secured in place until you push that flat. All done. When you see a lug nut with a wave pattern, that is the wheel lock. The wheel lock key is located in the rear cargo area. If you aren't able to locate the wheel lock key with the other tools in the cargo area, check your glove compartment because it might be located there. When you see the round sonar sensors on the front and rear bumpers of the GX, those are your intuitive parking sensors. So you'll see 4 across the front and 4 across the rear. Headlamp washers are located just below each headlight. The headlamp washers are linked to the cleaning of the front windshield. So when you pull the windshield wiper stalk toward you to spray the front windshield, if your headlights are turned on, whether they come on automatically or you manually turn them on, you're going to also activate the headlamp washers. Just pull the stalk toward you and you'll see the front windshield is clean and the headlamp washers are activated with that very first pull. And if you do multiple sprays of the windshield washer, your headlamp washers will spray again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On either the 4th or 5th pull of the windshield wiper stalk, you're going to reactivate the headlamp washers. Your GX will come with either 2 key fobs or 2 key fobs and a wallet key. The wallet key is basically a fob with no buttons. All of the electronic keys can operate any of the smart access system features to lock and unlock any of the doors and rear window, and of course, start the vehicle. With the key fob, you have physical buttons, so you can push the lock button 1 time and it will lock the vehicle. Press it a 2nd time and you'll see the headlights turn off if they've turned on in auto mode. Using the unlock button, you can press 1 time to unlock the driver's door only. Press unlock a 2nd time and you'll unlock the entire vehicle. You can also open and close the power back door from the button on the key fob. Just press and hold. And press and hold again to close. Once you hear the beeps, you can go ahead and let go of the button and the power back door will close, but keep in mind that it's not going to lock automatically for you. So you either need to lock from the lock button on the key fob, from an indentation on the door handles, from the rubber touchpad near the backup camera, or from the lock command in the remote feature in your Lexus app. When you see the hold alarm button at the bottom of the key fob, that is one way to sound the alarm on the vehicle to locate where it's parked. But my favorite way to locate the vehicle is actually in the Find feature in the Lexus app. Just click Find, and right at the top you'll see Last Parked Location. You can click to open the map and get directions to your vehicle. Since your keys are smart keys, you actually don't even have to hold the key in your hand. You can leave it in your pocket or your bag. And to lock the vehicle, just touch the indentation on any of the door handles. Historically, the GX had the smart access lock sensor on the driver's door and the front passenger door. That's still true for the base and premium builds. But now on many of the other packages, you will see lock sensors, that indentation on the front of the door handle, on all 4 doors. When you unlock from the driver's door handle, just put your hand in. You'll hear some beeps. You'll also hear the lock mechanism, and you'll see the physical lock pop up. So that's locked, unlocked. Let's relock. Typically, the system is programmed to unlock the driver's door only when you're opening from the driver's door handle. If you'd like to open the rest of the vehicle, you have a couple of different options. You can either just swipe your hand in a passenger door handle, because that will unlock the entire vehicle, or we'll relock. You can place your hand in the driver's door handle, driver's door unlocked, and just hold for 2 seconds. And now the remainder of the vehicle is unlocked. The rear seat reminder is a child safety feature that is triggered by opening a back door before you go for your drive. So if you have opened the rear of the vehicle, whether it's to load passengers or cargo, when you go for your drive, then complete your drive, turn off the vehicle, you will see attention check rear seat on your multi-information display. And when you lock the vehicle, you're going to hear a lot of beeps. If you would rather not have the rear seat reminder alert, you can turn that off in the settings inside the vehicle. Come to Settings, Vehicle Customize, Utility, and then you can toggle off the rear seat reminder. Keep in mind this is a child safety feature, so if you do travel with children or pets, it is recommended to leave the setting turned on, and just know that you're going to get a lot of beeps if you lock the vehicle without reopening a back door to check the rear seat. You can also use the lock button on the key fob to remote start the vehicle, as long as you've set up the primary driver profile in the Lexus app. You do need to be about 30 or so feet away from the vehicle without any major physical obstructions between your key fob and the vehicle. So this could be tricky depending on where you're parking, which is why most people do usually use the remote start from the Lexus app. So I'll show you that next, but in case you'd like to use the key fob remote start, you're going to be using the lock button, and you're going to press, press, press and hold. Keep holding until you see the indicator lights flash, and then you can let go of the button on the key fob. The lights will flash, the engine will start, and the vehicle will run remotely for 10 minutes. When you approach the vehicle, if it's still running, you put your hand in the door handle to unlock. It is going to stay turned on for you. But in order to drive, you need to have your physical key with you, and you'll apply the brake and push start just like normal. To remote start from the Lexus app, make sure you are signed in as the primary driver, and then you'll see lock, start, and unlock along the bottom portion of your phone screen. Just touch and hold for about a second, and you'll see the command, and you'll see a progress bar letting you know that the vehicle is being remotely started. When the remote start is successfully completed, you'll see the message that the vehicle was remote started and that it will shut off in 10 minutes. You'll also see a countdown clock and the word stop now, where we gave our remote start command. And when you enter the vehicle, it will remain on. You'll just need to apply the brake and push the start button in order to shift into gear to drive. There is also a mechanical emergency key inside the key fobs and the wallet key. To locate the mechanical key in the key fob, just turn it to the side and look for the word push. You're going to actually push on this dot, and when you do, you'll see this little lever open, and then you can pull out the metal mechanical key. You'll use this to lock and unlock the glove compartment. Unlock or lock. And you can also use it to lock the GX while the vehicle is still running. Let's check that out. So with the vehicle running, we're going to exit the GX. We're taking our entire key with us, so it's going to beep and talk to us a little bit. I didn't lock the vehicle, but it's beeping at me because I took my key with me. So if I were to try to lock with the smart access system, I'm going to get a long sustained beep because the car is still running. So I need to bypass the smart access system and lock the vehicle manually. Remove the mechanical key from the key fob housing, locate the key cylinder in the driver's door handle, just twist to the left to lock, and now your GX is locked. The engine is running, and you have bypassed the smart access system. That means when you want to re-enter the vehicle, you have to use the mechanical key to physically unlock, because we manually locked, so now we're going to manually unlock. Insert the metal key into the key cylinder, turn to the right one time to unlock the driver's door only, turn to the right a second time, and you'll unlock the entire GX. And then just put the metal key back in the key fob housing for next time. Coming back around to the rear of the vehicle, we know we can use the buttons on the key fob to unlock and open the power back door on the GX. You'll also notice 2 additional rubber touchpad buttons near the backup camera. It is part of the smart access system, so make sure you have your key with you. Just press the large touchpad. You'll hear a beep, and the back door will power open. If you've closed the back door but didn't use the close and lock feature, you can lock from the small rubber touchpad. You'll hear the beeps, your side view mirrors will fold in, and you'll know your GX is locked. And while we're back here, let's talk about the kick sensor. It is one of my favorite features. Because the GX comes equipped for towing, the kick sensor is installed just a little to the right of the towing accessory. Make sure you have your smart key on your person. Just kick. You'll hear the beep letting you know that the sensor has seen your foot. Then you'll hear a longer sustained tone while the back door is powering open. You can also kick to close. Just kick forward and back, listen for the tones, and step out of the way. If you are using the kick sensor and you hear 2 beeps, that means the system has canceled the operation. So there's no need to hold your foot or move it side to side. Just kick forward and step back once you've heard that first beep, letting you know the system has seen your foot. Really excited that the pop open rear window carried over to the GX redesign. You do need to have your smart key with you because you unlock it and pop it open from here, but you have to have your key. So just press, you'll see and hear it release, and then you can open up that rear window for quick access into the cargo area. When you close the back window, it's really important that you close it all the way because if it does not get closed all the way, watch what happens. You cannot operate the power back door. So if you are kicking and nothing's happening, and then you pull out your key fob and you push and hold that button, and you hear double beeps or nothing happens, guess what? Your back window is probably still open. So just lift up and then firmly close that rear pop open back window on the GX, and then you can operate your power back door. So you can kick or use the key fob. So if you're having trouble with the power back door on your GX, triple check that pop open rear window. When you open the power rear door, you'll see two buttons here on the right-hand side. The button on the left will close the back door, and it's also used if you need to adjust the opening height. And the button on the right is customizable. It's a close and lock button, and there are two different ways that it can be programmed. Let's check these out. So if you press the power close button, the rear door of the GX is going to close for you, but the vehicle is not going to lock. The button on the right is a close and lock button, and it can be programmed in two ways. The first way is for you to press the button and the door will begin to close immediately and then lock the vehicle. We'll press it, and this door is programmed to automatically close right away and lock the vehicle. So the customization is going to give you a 30-second standby mode. That just gives you time to gather your things after you've pushed the button. Make sure you have your smart key with you. The GX needs to be turned off and all the doors need to be closed because it is going to lock the vehicle for us. Just press the button when you're ready. You'll hear some beeps letting you know that the process has started, the countdown has started. 30 seconds worth of continual beeps. It's waiting for me to gather my things and walk away. And with the auto folding mirrors turned on, you'll see the mirrors have folded in and you'll know your GX is locked. The height opening for the power back door can be customized in settings inside the vehicle, but my favorite way to customize the back door height is actually at the door itself. You're going to use the same button that you use to power close to adjust the opening height. Press the button and then press it again to stop it at the opening height that you want. In order to save this as your new opening height, we're going to use that same button again. This time we're going to press and hold until we hear 4 beeps. Now this new opening position has been saved. If you'd like to reset and start again, use that same button. This time we need 6 beeps. We're going to push and hold. We have the first 4, keep waiting. Last 2. 6 beeps means we've cleared the memory, so just press. And the door will reopen to the max height. The rear cargo area configuration is going to vary based on which GX you have, and you may have the fold flat 3rd row, or the Overtrail or Overtrail Plus with seating for 5 that has a large open cargo space. All versions have some features in common, so we'll go over everything we can. When you open the cargo area on GXs with a 3rd row, you're going to see a setup like this. You'll have your first aid kit and the bracket for mounting your front license plate. And depending on the cargo accessories that you have, you may have a cargo net and a zip pouch. There are clips on either end that connect to the D-ring, and here's how that works. Just open the D-ring, clip on at each side, and unzip to remove the cargo net. When you remove the cargo net from the pouch, you'll just hook the cables at the top. You'll see a tab in the center with the Lexus logo. It actually has 2 hook points. You'll snap the larger hook onto the front cable and the small hook onto the back cable. It's not like a really strong hold, but it does just let you have some additional containment for whatever items you're putting in your cargo net. When you're ready to put the cargo net away, just undo the top cables. Make sure to not let it go flying. Then just start with the corners, roll it up and into the pouch. Once you have it tucked into the pouch, you can zip it closed. And you can leave it connected to the hooks if you'd like, or you can remove it altogether. Before you open the lower storage or remove a cargo cover, make sure to remove the cargo net pouch so that the clips don't get damaged. Usually you'll have either a carpeted cargo mat or an all-weather cargo mat like you see here. Fold up the D-ring anchor points, and then you can lift up or you can remove the cargo mat if needed to access the lower storage area. Just unclip the pouch to remove the tools. The pouch contains the jack handle and extension bars, a small screwdriver, and the wheel nut wrench. You could also store the wheel lock key here if you prefer. Just reattach the clips and cinch the tools down into place so that they don't make noise while you're driving. For GX Overtrail and Overtrail Plus, where you don't have a third row, you'll see a large open cargo area, and the layout is a little bit different. It's going to add an additional storage cubby here on the left-hand side. You'll need to pull firmly to pop open the door, and you will see sound dampening materials, just a nice detail to keep things quiet. And when you want to put it back, it can be a little fiddly. There are clips on all 4 sides. I do like to try to align at the bottom, even though there's no snap-in at the bottom. It just gives you a good place to support the cover. So line it up at the bottom and then align the sides, and you'll be able to just snap everything into place. If you remove your cargo cover, you'll be able to see this heavy-duty lower decking. It is slightly different than the configuration that you see on GXs that have a third row. You have a larger section that folds back with a shallow storage area. You do still have tools on the left-hand side for changing a tire, and you may see the mounting bracket for the front license plate here. Notice that there is a cable here that allows this piece to just stay up, but you can't fold it back flat, and the lower section is fixed in place. So you're not going to be lifting this up any further, so you can just close it back up when you're ready. There is a little bit of a dip at the back of this cargo floor as you get close to the second row passenger seating. It's a great place to store the cargo net pouch if you have a cargo net pouch in your GX. The jack is located behind that little door on the left-hand side of the rear cargo area. It's adjusted to fit into the storage spot, but then it's expanded a bit and there's a band to hold it in place. So you'll want to loosen the jack and then undo the band to remove the jack. And then just do the reverse steps to put it all back in place and close it up when you're done. The spare tire is located below the rear of the vehicle. You'll use the tools provided in the rear cargo area and follow the instructions in your owner's manual to loosen and lower the wheel and change the tire. The 120-volt outlet is located here at the right rear of the vehicle, just inside the rear cargo area. And remember to turn the power for the outlet on with the button to the left of the steering wheel at the front of the vehicle. If your GX has a third row, whether it's manually operated or power operated, before you fold the seats flat and into the floor of the GX, make sure that if you have a tonneau or luggage covers, that you move it out of the way so the seats can fold down. So that means we need to get into the third row, or the rear cargo area. Let those seats tumble forward and climb aboard. Keep in mind that the luggage cover is optional equipment, and it also does not come on all models, so you may see a slightly different setup on these side panels depending on whether or not you have a tonneau shade. If you see a cap like this, covering where the tonneau shade bar would go, that means that your vehicle didn't come with this optional accessory, but you can order it through your Lexus dealership. Then you can pop out the covers. You'll need a small flathead screwdriver to do that. You'll see a bolt at the back inside. Just leave that in place. If you want to reinstall the caps, they just pop right back into place. Remember that the bar for the privacy shade acts like a tension rod, so I recommend 2 hands because you're just going to apply some pressure on either side, then pull toward the center of the vehicle. And you'll notice that now it's actually ready to just remove it. You just want to be mindful of the sides of the vehicle, seats if they happen to still be up and in place, windows, etc. And unfortunately, there's not a place in the vehicle to store the tonneau cover. So you do have to take it out of the vehicle and store it at home or in your garage. The trickiest part about putting the tonneau shade back in place is that it is in its most expanded form, and you want to be really careful with taking care of the interior of the vehicle. So you want to make sure that you position it very carefully, and then you press toward that side of the vehicle. Then it will narrowly pass along the other side so that you can put it in the port. Once both ends are in place, you're all set, and you can put the tonneau shade in place. Let's do that. Grab the handle and come up and over the hooks that are on either side. When you're ready to put the shade back in place, you'll pull toward you so you can clear those hooks. Come back up and over and gently retract the shade. You're all set. If you're not going to use the third row for passengers and you are going to typically have it folded down and flat, I recommend storing the seat belts. Lift the clip up above, slide the belt into place, and slide the clip down and into that spot to secure it. And then you'll do the same thing on the other side. And with a power third row, you'll see buttons to operate each left and right seat. When you know that the third row area is clear and you've removed the luggage cover from the vehicle, you can go ahead and fold the third row seats down. The first press will just bring the seats to their most upright position. It just gives you a little additional cargo space. But if you press and hold again, you'll hear 2 beeps and the seats will start to fold. If you let go in the middle of the seats folding, you're going to hear a long alarm. Just press again to either complete or reverse the operation. When you hear 2 beeps, you're all set. And then you can do the same thing on the other side. 1 press gets you a little more space. Press and hold. And the third row seats will fold flat. You'll also see buttons to operate the power third row seats just inside the second row doors, here and here. They work in the same way as the buttons in the cargo area. When you press the button to fold the seat down, the headrest will fold forward, the seat bottom cushion will tuck into the floor, and your GX third row seats are folded flat. As an additional safety precaution, if the rear door is closed on the same side of the vehicle as the seat you're wanting to fold from the inside buttons, here's what happens. Won't go. However, if the door is open, then you can operate the seats. And the same is true whether you're trying to fold them down or raise them up. Whether your third row is operated manually or with the power buttons, the headrests are manually lifted into place. For vehicles with a manually operated third row, you won't see buttons here. Locate the strap handle, lean in, give a pull toward the back of the vehicle, and just lift that seat up and into place. You can also pull the strap handle to adjust the recline for the third row. So if you bring it up and it's in a more straight up and down position, that's going to give you more cargo room, but you can just pull here and allow the seat to recline back. Another option is to use the handle that's on the shoulder of the seat. This is a lot easier if you're a third row passenger. Just lift up and it does the same thing. And if you do have third row passengers, make sure to lift the headrest up and into place. And then you can do the same thing on the other side. To fold the third row flat, use this strap to put the headrest down. Just pull, it will go zipping down. Make sure that seat is clear. Then you can either use the handle on the shoulder of the seat, just lift up, and that will allow you to fold the seat forward and flat. Or you can use the strap handle, pull toward you, and then that gives you a little more control over the seat to lower it down. And your third row passengers can also operate the third row from inside the vehicle. To fold the third row flat from inside the vehicle, start with the headrest. Just pull the strap so it folds down. Use the lever on the outside shoulder of the seat, and when you bring the seat forward, the seat bottom cushion will automatically retract into the floor. And if you'd like to put the seat back up and into place, use the strap handle at the back of the third row seat. If you'd like to recline, use the lever on the outside shoulder, and then make sure to lift the seat bottom cushion up and into place. And always remember the headrest for third row cabin passengers. Just lift it up until it clicks into place. Third row cabin passengers can also let themselves out of the third row with the tumble lever. It's on the backs of the outboard second row seats. You just lift up and tumble forward. And for the parents out there, as a heads up, that tumble lever also reclines the second row seat. So if you suddenly find that siblings are possibly helping their second row siblings to recline, you'll know why. Let's talk a little more about accessing the third row. Depending on the position of the front seats, you may need to slide the seat forward or adjust the seat back more upright before tumbling the second row seats. Another tip is to make sure the headrests of the second row are in their lowest position, just giving you more room for those seats to tumble forward easily. Third row passengers have their own air conditioning vents. If your GX comes equipped with a third row, make sure you have them in the position that you want and that they are open and in place. Third row passengers can turn their own dome lights off and on with the press of this button. You'll have a USB-C charger, cup holders. On GXs with a power third row, you'll have a button to recline the third row seats. You'll have the same setup on both sides. In GXs with 3 rows, you'll see cargo net anchors on the lower section of each side. And on GXs with 2 rows, the cargo anchors are moved to the floor. Now let's take a look at the second row. Depending on the model that you have, you may have rear window sunshades. Just lift up to clear those hooks, and then you can lower the sunshade down into the door. If you'd like to put it back up, just lift on the tab and come up and over those hooks. And then you can do the same thing on the other side. GXs can come with a bench seat or captain's chairs, depending on the package you choose. For the second row seats, you can recline and tilt forward and tumble forward, all with this lever. So if you want to recline the seat, just lift the lever and press the seat back. If you want to tumble the seat forward, lift the lever up and then press down on the shoulder of the seat and tumble into place. When it's time to put the seats back down into position, you're going to be clamping these feet into the floor. And there are these large metal brackets. So make sure this area is clear. Make sure if you have rear cabin passengers, their feet are out of the way, and then press down. You do have to press pretty hard because you do want it to clamp into place. Then raise up your seat back and lift the lever and press the seat back into the reclined position that you prefer. And you have controls on either side. You can adjust the second row headrest just by lifting up, and you'll notice that there is a little catch here. Just press, and then you can raise the headrest up one click, press again, and you will remove them. So there's not a lot of height adjustment, just a little bit. If you do need to take them out, you can, and you'll see that one notch letting you know that there's just one level of adjustment. Just press and bring the headrest back down one click, or press again and lower it all the way to the bottom. And the same will be true on the other side. For the armrests on the captain's chairs, you can bring them all the way down until you hear it click into place at the lowest position. Then you can raise them up, and you'll have a few different levels of adjustment. Then just bring them all the way back up to reset. The lower center console between the two captain's chairs is fixed in place, so it's not removable, but the liners for the cup holder are. So just make sure you know that. If you need to remove the liner to do some cleaning, you can, for the main cup holders and for the small storage area. The bench seat configuration has a 60-40 split. The right side and the center seat will fold together, and the left side, the seat behind the driver, can fold down independently. With the bench seat set up, the cup holders are just behind the fold-down center armrest. And for the bench seat, you can also adjust the center headrest. You'll see a little release button on each post. If you would like to raise or lower the center headrest on the bench seat, you need to use this little button. You're going to press it in, then you can lower or raise the headrest. If you'd like to remove the headrest, you're not able to use this button, you need to use this button. So you would press and then just lift up to completely remove the headrest. When you want to put the headrest back, you actually need to use both buttons. Just press one and then the other while you're holding the headrest, and then you can push it down and adjust all the way to the lowest position if you prefer. On some models, you'll have second row seat tethers designed to just help hold the seat in that tumbled forward position, especially if you're going off-roading. If you're familiar with this kind of setup, you'll notice that the hook is a little bit different than before. It's designed for the strap to go around the handle and the hook to then attach to the strapping itself. And then you tighten it down. Then close that cover, and you have the same setup on the other side. Pop open the cover, unroll the tether, and locate the hook. Just feed the hook around the outside of the handle, attach the hook here, hold the tether snug, and then cinch down and tighten up the slack. There's not really a good spot for this tail, so you can just tuck it around a couple of times to keep it neat and out of the way. Close up the cover, and then look on the lower portion of the seat. You're going to remove these covers and snap them into the floor anchor points. And when you're ready to put it all back, If you have put the floor covers in place, make sure to remove them and stow them back underneath the seats for next time. When you're ready to put the support strap back, go ahead and loosen the tether. And then you can unhook the strap, and then you're going to just roll it back on top of itself. So just keep rolling, rolling, nice and easy. Open that little compartment. This doesn't come down really far, so just don't pull too hard on it. And instead of doing this, which seems logical, but then it won't fit, do this. Turn it back kind of on top of itself. That allows those larger plastic pieces to just sit inside. And then you can snap it up. You will see a little bit of the strap sticking out. That's totally normal. If your GX comes with rear cabin climate, you'll see this setup. You have heated rear seats available, 3 levels of heat for the left passenger and the right passenger. If you have the optional heated rear seats, lower the temperature, raise the temperature, make your selection for airflow mode. Just press to toggle from feet only, face and feet, or select auto, and our fan speed and our airflow mode will be chosen automatically for us based on the temperature that we've selected for the rear cabin. So we'll select auto and we'll see the word auto, and then you're going to really hear the fan kick up right now. If you want to take over, just press the fan button. You can increase or decrease, and if you keep decreasing, you can actually turn it all off. So just press the fan again to get it going, and you can also turn it off with the off button. Coming down on the back of the front armrest, you'll see 2 USB-C charging ports for rear cabin passengers. Just open the door, and the ports are illuminated, which is really great for nighttime driving. Just close the doors and snap them into place when they're not in use. The setup on this console for Overtrail is a little bit different because you don't have rear cabin climate controls. You do have vents for the heating and air conditioning system that you can close or open, and you can adjust where the air is directed. Also, coming down below, you still have heated seats available. Just press the button to operate for the left passenger and the right passenger. And there are 2 USB-C charging ports. Just open the covers to locate the ports and close them up when you're ready. Second row passengers also have their own dome light operation. Just press the button to turn either side on or off. And it's always a nice idea to make sure the vents are open. So you can adjust the tilt and adjust where the air is flowing, or just snap them shut if you'd like to close them off. But if you have rear passengers or you just want them open, make sure to toggle them open. Each side has a light-duty hook for things like dry cleaning. Each captain's chair and the outboard seats for the bench configuration have lower anchor points for child safety seats, the latch system. Just lift up on the Velcroed section to see those lower anchor points. And your top tethers will connect underneath the rear headrests and over the back of these seats. All GXs have 3 top tethers. Depending on whether you have a bench seat or captain's chairs, the configuration of those tethers is a little bit different. For GXs with the bench seat, you'll have a top tether at the back of each of the 3 seats for your second row, but you will not have a top tether in the 3rd row. With captain's chairs, you have a top tether behind each of the captain's chairs and an additional tether behind the back right 3rd row seat. There are child safety locks on both second row doors. To engage that lock, just push down on the toggle next to the child safety lock icon. This does mean that second row passengers will not be able to use the door handle inside the vehicle to open the door to the GX. So you will need to open the door for them from outside. If you'd like to turn off the child safety lock, just toggle back up and you're good to go. Before we hop in the front, I want to let you know the headrests on both front seats can of course be adjusted up or down, but some front headrests can adjust forward or back. Just click and you'll be able to move that headrest forward. To move it back, you actually need to go all the way to the front and then let it retract back to the farthest back position, and then you can start clicking forward again. Pretty cool. Now let's finally hop back in the front cabin and go over all the buttons, bells, and whistles. If you haven't set up your Lexus driver profile yet, please make sure to go back to that section of the video before making any customizations. Let's start by coming up and looking at a couple of things on the dash. When the alarm light is flashing, that just lets you know that the alarm is ready and waiting. But when the vehicle is locked, the light will be solid, letting you know that the system is armed. When you turn the vehicle on, the alarm light will turn off. Looking on the right side of the dash, you'll see a small domed sensor. This is the sensor for the automatic headlights. So if this sensor gets covered up, you might notice that your headlights are going to come on and your main display will dim depending on the settings that you've selected for day mode or night mode for your main screen. So if you find that your headlights are turning on during the day, make sure to check that you don't have anything covering that sensor. Taking a look at the buttons in the driver's door handle, the top left button will power fold the side mirrors. Just press. You can fold them in or open them up, but notice that when you do use the button to power fold the outside mirrors, the auto mode will turn off. So if you've pressed the button to power fold the mirrors in, rather than using this button to open them again, use the auto button. So you'll press auto, the green light will come on for auto, and your outside mirrors will open back up. It's always nice to have the auto mode turned on, because it means your side mirrors will automatically fold in when you lock your vehicle. You have the L for left and R for right, and the adjustment pad to move the mirror into your best driving position. You can also adjust the mirrors for the reverse angle position. That means when you have either L or R selected, it doesn't matter which, we just need to have a light for either L or R. When you shift the GX into reverse, the mirrors will tilt down. Let's take a look. So if you like the angle that they've tilted to, that's great, you can just leave it. But if you want, you can customize it. So you'll choose the left mirror, make your adjustments, and then do the same on the right-hand side. So just press R for right, adjust that right mirror where you want it. Then we're going to shift the vehicle into park. It's going to memorize the position that we just set. You'll also see the mirrors tilt back up and into your normal driving position. And then when you shift into reverse, you'll see the newly saved tilt in reverse mirror position. If you do not want the mirrors to tilt in reverse, just deselect the L and R buttons. So just press to deselect. No light means the mirrors will not tilt in reverse. You'll see the unlock and lock buttons here, and the buttons to operate the power windows for the driver and the passengers. And you also have the ability to lock out passenger window operation. So just press that window lock button. You'll see a green light appear, and that means only the driver can power open all of the windows on the vehicle. The passengers cannot operate the windows at all. You can disable that and allow the passengers to operate their windows. Taking a look at the buttons on the left-hand side of the dash, you'll see your odometer, trip meter button. Just press and release to toggle you through trip A, trip B. When you see the small wrench icon, that lets you know how many miles you have before your next oil change. You'll still service every 5,000 miles or 6 months, whichever comes first, but you usually don't need to do an oil change until every 10,000 miles or once per year. Press again and we're back to our odometer. Press one more time, and if you're on trip A or trip B, you can press and hold to zero out that trip. Push and release, and just toggle through until you're back on your odometer. You'll also see up and down arrows that change the brightness for the lights on your gauges. This is not actually a button, but you can press the up arrow to increase the brightness and the down arrow to decrease the brightness. And you'll see the brightness message light up on your display. And coming down, and we'll see our driver position memory buttons that we set up earlier. And just below, you'll see a quick on-off for your parking support brake feature. That's the auto braking feature that allows the system to apply the brakes when you're getting a warning from your parking sensors or the rear cross traffic alert system. This is really important to turn off if you are attaching an accessory mount, bike rack, or trailer. When a compatible trailer is plugged in and connected, the parking support brake will automatically turn off. The next button over operates our power back door. If you press the power back door button and nothing happens, look for this message: unlock doors to open back door. That means that the other doors on the vehicle are still locked. Just press the unlock button in the door handle, and then you can operate the power back door from the button inside the vehicle. Just push and hold. You'll hear the beeps. You'll see an indication on your multi-information display, just letting you know that that power back door is being opened. Push and hold again. You'll get the beeps, you'll see the display, and the power back door will close. Our next button is the AC 120 volt outlet on-off switch. This will turn on the power for that outlet. So if you want to use that 120 volt outlet on the vehicle, make sure that the vehicle is on and that you've pressed the button to turn the power on for the outlet. If there's not a light above that button, then there is no power running to that outlet, so you wouldn't be able to use it. So just make sure to turn it on if you need it. If your GX has the optional power running boards, you'll have the toggle here to allow them to be always out, meaning ready and waiting, and you'll see the power steps deployed message on your display. You can also turn them off and they'll tuck in and away and it will say power steps off, or leave them in auto. So when you toggle to auto, this button is basically going to be flat. You will see the power steps auto message on your multi-information display, but if you happen to not be looking there, just know that the toggle switch needs to be in that central position for auto. And when you open a door, the power running boards will slide out, and when you close the door, the power running boards will tuck away. And taking a look at our headlamp operation. Just twist the dial to select auto operation of the low beam headlights. When your low beams are turned on, you'll see that icon in green here. Twisting up for a parking light or daytime running light only, and manual operation of the low beam headlights. Coming back all the way to the bottom of the selection, you'll see DRL off. That stands for daytime running lights off. It actually means the headlights are completely off. You do have fog lights that can come on when the low beam headlights are on, or just select to have them off. When you turn on the fog lights and your low beam headlights are on, you'll also see a fog light icon. And you have auto high beams. Just press the button on the end of the stalk to turn on the auto high beams, and you'll see the green light above the auto high beam icon. When the high beams come on in the auto mode, you'll see the auto high beam icon here. Just press again to turn it off. For manual high beam operation, pull toward you to flash the brights. You'll see the blue bright or high beam icon come on and back off. Push away to turn them on. You'll see the blue high beam icon come on and stay on until you turn them back off, or you go back to the low beam headlights. And coming over to our windshield wiper operation, the windshield wipers are controlled by the position of the stalk. If you bring it up to the top for mist, the windshield wipers will swipe to clear mist or condensation off of the front windshield, and then they'll drop back down to the off position. If you click down one from off, you'll be in the auto mode. Mist to off, down one for auto, and the windshield wipers will just let you know with a one swipe. And when you're in auto, you can adjust the sensitivity of the auto wipers with this dial. The least sensitive takes a lot of water to get them going. Most sensitive is usually the preferred setting. One thing that is really important to know, you do not have to try to line up this dial. In fact, it's almost impossible, but you do not have to try to line up this dial with the word auto. Not necessary. Just put them in the sensitivity setting you prefer, and when your windshield wipers are in the auto mode, then it will respond to that setting. You can manually operate your wipers by coming down to low or down all the way to the bottom to high. Back to low, back to auto, and if you're not quite sure if they're in auto or not, just come all the way to the top, let it drop, and come one click down. Your rear wiper can be set to off, intermittent, or steady on. If you pull toward you, you'll spray the front windshield. Push away to spray the rear window. And if your GX has a backup camera lens washer, you'll also have spray on the backup camera lens. The backup camera lens clean, and the rear window will be cleaned. You can even clean the backup camera lens and the rear window from the main display when you shift into reverse, and just touch. And you'll see the spray, and the backup camera view will be much cleaner, and so will your back window. Taking a look at the buttons on the left-hand side of the steering wheel. These buttons and the Go Back button all operate your customizable 12.3-inch digital multi-information display. You will use the left and right arrows to select the page. We'll use the right arrow to click through screen number 1, number 2, and number 3. Let's arrow over again, and it tells you hold OK to customize. So we'll press and hold the OK button, and now we've activated the customization mode. Then use the arrow pad to move through the items that are available to show on that page. Then you are going to exit customization by pushing the U-turn or go back button. So we'll just press that. Then you can use the left or right arrows to move to your next page that you'd like to view or customize. On all 3 screens, there are 3 different zones or sections that you can customize. The center section on each page has all of the same list of available items to view, no matter which page you're on, and the left and right screens all have the same items to choose from. It's going to default you to that center view Here are the options that you have for the center view. You can choose a blank center section, arrow down. You have driving support information for cruise control, lane monitoring, etc. Arrowing down, map 1. When you have the Lexus Drive Connect navigation activated, you'll not only see the maps on your main display, but you'll have the option of 2 different map views in your customizable multi-information display. Coming down to select map 2, and it's a slightly wider map view. If you activate a route with a navigation app through Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, that information is not going to carry over to the customizable display on your multi-information display. So if you have selected either map 1 or map 2, and you put in a route through Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, this screen might appear blank, and you'll have additional navigation information such as your next turn appear in other places on your display or in the head-up display. But when you end the route, your Lexus navigation will reappear on the multi-information display if that's your selection. Apple Maps through CarPlay, Lexus Maps in the multi-information display. So it is possible to see both types of maps, but as soon as you put that destination in, the map 1 or map 2 image in the multi-information display will go blank until you've completed your route guidance on the main screen. Arrowing down for a blank screen, it's pretty common for the customizable display to have a blank screen as the default central view. So go ahead and make that customization. If we arrow to the right or arrow to the left, you'll have the same list of available customizations. Arrowing down, we go from trip information to the eco indicator. Arrow down again, and you can have driving support. Arrowing down for navigation. Arrowing down for an audio screen option. Arrowing down again for drive information. And arrowing down for the traction monitor. Arrowing down for the pitch and roll monitor screen. Arrowing down for trailer braking information. Arrowing down again for auxiliary gauges. Arrowing down for our engine and transmission temperature gauges. Arrowing down for the turbo monitor, which is the boost gauge. Arrowing down for a G-force monitor, and coming down again for a blank screen option. So let's arrow down one more time and we'll be right back where we started, which is our fuel economy screen. So just notice that you can move down or up and scroll through all of the available selections. Just choose what you feel is most important for you and your driving activities in your GX, and then arrow over to the other side because you have the exact same list here, so you can just decide which layout works best for you, and then you can customize the next page. So you'll push the U-turn or go back arrow to exit the customization mode, then use the left or right arrows to move to an additional page, and push and hold the OK button to enter customization mode, and then you can start your customizations again. It's important to know that the meter setting selection will also change what your multi-information display looks like. Let's check that out. Come to Settings, Vehicle Customize, Meter Settings, and open Meter Type. This is meter type 1, and you'll see that there is one central round gauge, page 1, page 2, and page 3. Meter type 2 gives you 2 round gauges, one on either side, page 1, page 2, and back to page 3. And meter type 3. Meter type 3 is a more minimalistic layout. Page 1, page 2, and page 3. So your multi-information display will always have 3 pages of information. It's just completely up to you which meter type layout you prefer. Make your selection and press OK to save. Now let's come back to the other buttons on the left-hand side of the steering wheel. Your telephone button is located here. Just press to open your phone feature on screen or to answer or hang up a telephone call. When you're driving and a phone call comes in, you'll have a message on the multi-information display. You can press the telephone button to answer. You can also answer from the main screen if you prefer. And when you're ready to hang up, just press the telephone button again. You can also arrow down and push OK to decline, or decline from the main screen. You can increase or decrease audio volume, and you have your voice command talk button in quick and easy reach. Press and release for your Lexus Assistant, and press and hold for your phone's assistant. You can also wake your voice assistants with their wake phrase. So you could push and release the talk button or say, "Hey Lexus," to wake your vehicle assistant. And you would be able to say things like, "Hey Lexus, get directions to Target near me."
I found 15 results. The first is Target at Lake Woodlands Drive. Would you like to go to that one?
Or, "Hey Lexus, I want to listen to First Wave on Sirius XM." Or use your phone's assistant for phone-related things, like placing a phone call, sending a text, or using a compatible navigation app. So you would either push and hold the talk button on the steering wheel, or say, "Okay Google," or "Hey Siri," to wake your phone's assistant. "Hey Siri, get directions to Target using Waze."
One possibility I see is Target on Lake Woodlands Drive in Spring, about 4 miles to your north. Want to try that one?
Yes.
Getting directions to Target using Waze.
Begin driving.
"Hey Siri, send a text to Sarah."
What do you want to say to Sarah?
"Have a great day."
It says, "Have a great day." Send it?
Yes.
Done.
"Hey Siri, call Sarah."
Calling Sarah, mobile.
Just remember that your phone's assistant can do things associated with your phone, and your Lexus Assistant will do things associated with your vehicle's system. Coming over to the right side of the steering wheel, we have cruise control and additional safety features at the top and audio buttons below. In order to use cruise control, the vehicle needs to be in drive and you must have your seatbelt on. If you press the button to activate cruise control and you are not in drive, this is what happens. You get some beeps and it tells you cruise control unavailable. Shift into drive. If you shift into drive and you press the button for cruise control and you see this message, cruise control unavailable, see owner's manual, that usually means you need to put your seatbelt on. When you have your seatbelt on and you're in drive and you reach the speed you would like to cruise, just press the cruise control button. You're going to see the cruise control symbol change from white to green because it's gone from standby mode to an active mode. You do need to actually be driving at least 19 miles an hour, which is why you see the number 19 here. It's just waiting for us to get to 19 miles per hour. So the best way to use the system is to get to the speed that you want to cruise and then press the cruise control button to set that speed. You can increase or decrease your speed. And if you have pressed the cancel button or tapped on the brake to cancel, you can use the increase or resume button to come back to your last set cruise speed. You can also change your following distance because this is an adaptive cruise control system. So just press and you'll be able to toggle through 4 different distance settings. Just think of this as a buffer between you and the vehicle traveling in front of you. So you can have an extra long buffer zone. Click to come down to 3 bars for a long buffer zone. Click again for a medium buffer zone with the 2 bars, and click one more time for 1 bar, which is going to be a short or the closest distance that you can set between you and the vehicle traveling in front of you. And the system is going to automatically slow you down or increase your speed as that buffer zone permits. If your vehicle has the optional traffic jam assist feature and you have the trial or paid subscription for Drive Connect, on certain types of freeways that are mapped for this feature, the GX will know that you are in a traffic jam. It detects that you're doing stop and go driving at low speeds. It will lower your speed, even come to a stop, and then it will resume without you having to apply the accelerator or press the resume button. Now keep in mind that's only if you have the traffic jam assist feature. So if you don't have traffic jam assist, your GX might bring you to a stop, but then you would just press resume or apply the accelerator to begin cruising again. To turn off cruise, you can just finish your drive and turn the vehicle off or press the button and you'll see the cruise icon go back to that white standby mode. You will see the last cruising speed on this drive cycle here. In case you click resume, then cruise control will re-engage and you'll go back to cruising at that last set cruising speed. If you would like to change from adaptive cruise to regular cruise, so just traditional cruise where you do not have a following distance, you'll use the cruise mode button. Notice, however, if you are already using adaptive cruise and you press the cruise mode button, it's going to tell you that mode change is unavailable, and it might tell you that the system has stopped and to see the owner's manual. That's because you have to have cruise control off in order to change from adaptive cruise to regular cruise. So now we see that our cruise control icon is in white, not green. We're in standby for cruise, so we can change cruise modes. Press the cruise mode button. You'll see the current mode, which is adaptive. When you see the icon with a vehicle and the arrow, that lets you know you're setting 2 things. You're setting the following distance with the vehicle in front of you, and you're setting your cruising speed. Press it again, and you'll be able to change from adaptive cruise to regular cruise control mode, and you'll see the icon for cruise control change to just the arrow indicating speed only. When you are using regular cruise control, you cannot activate and set your speed until you are driving over 19 miles per hour. So if you try to do that, it's going to beep at you and tell you cruise control unavailable, see owner's manual. All that means is drive, get up to the speed that you'd like to cruise, then press the button. This button is for lane trace assist. When you press that button, you'll see the icon turn on your instrument panel. Press again to turn it off, the icon turns off. But when lane trace assist is turned on, you'll see lane indicators on your multi-information display and your head-up display, depending on your settings. You'll also see an icon that some people tell me looks a little bit like an alien with headphones on. It's actually a steering wheel with 2 hands. When it is white, it lets you know it is in standby mode. When it is green, it's telling you the system is active. Coming down to the audio buttons on the right side of the steering wheel, the mode button will toggle you through your different audio sources. Just press to change from FM to AM to Sirius XM, audio from your phone for Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, and press again, and you will be able to subscribe to integrated streaming services if you have an Apple Music or Amazon Music subscription. You can also just listen to Apple Music or Amazon Music through the apps on your phone with Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Just press again to come back to the source that you prefer. A neat thing about the mode button is you can use it as a pause or mute button. Just push and hold, and it will mute or pause the audio. Push and hold again, and it will resume playing. Using the left and right facing arrows on the bottom of the right hand side of the steering wheel, these arrows are for the audio system, and they will move you from track to track or from favorite to favorite, depending on what type of audio you're listening to. So you'll just use the buttons. So just click through. You'll see a drop-down message on your main display, or if you happen to be on the Lexus radio screen, when you push and release, you'll see the programming information change just below the tile layout of your radio favorites. And if you've opened to the more full screen view, where your radio favorites are in the list layout on the left-hand side, when you change from station to station, you'll see the radio station information change on the right-hand side of the screen. You'll also have a highlight for the station that's playing in the list on the left-hand side, and you'll see it move through as you change stations. Just keep arrowing through, and then it will circle you back to the top of your radio favorites. And if you have audio selected as one of your features on the multi-information display, you'll see the information shown there as well. You can also use these arrows to seek the next available channel or station. Just push and hold, and the radio will find the next available signal. Notice that if you are on an HD channel that has additional digital programming, the next available signal may have the same call numbers, but you'll be moved from program to program. So the example that we're looking at right now, 88.7, has 4 available programs. But if we continue to push and hold, it's going to jump to the next available radio station. You'll see paddle shifters on the sides of the steering column. Paddle shifters can be used in the drive mode for engine braking, but you can also shift into manual mode to upshift and downshift yourself from drive. Just pull the gear shift toward you and you'll activate the manual mode. You can use the gear shift to upshift or downshift, or use the paddle shifters, upshifting on the right and downshifting on the left. You'll have a readout on the multi-information display as you change gears while you're driving. Right now we're not going to see anything because we are going 0 miles per hour, but you will see M1 change to whichever gear you are in as you are shifting up or down with the paddle shifters or on the gearbox. If you have accidentally engaged the manual mode, don't worry, you can come back to drive at any time. Just slide the gear shift back over into the drive position. And coming up, there are 2 different rear view mirrors that you might see on the GX. The GX has a traditional optical rear view mirror with 3 home link buttons on the left-hand side and an optional digital rear view mirror. If your vehicle has a digital rear view mirror, you'll notice that the housing is pretty substantial, and I like to adjust the mirror with both hands for the optical view first. So once you have the mirror where you want it for your main driving position in the optical mirror mode, look for the toggle and then just toggle it toward you, and now you'll see the digital mirror. The digital mirror has a lot of customizations, and the buttons to control the digital mirror settings are located here on the right-hand side. Just press and you'll see the menu open. So whatever item here is highlighted is what you'll control with the arrows. So now we're on brightness. We can make it more dim, more bright. Press the button again to switch from one item to the other. We can raise or lower the camera lens view. Press again and we can move the camera lens view from side to side. Press again and we can adjust the angle of tilt. So adjusting clockwise or counterclockwise. Press again and you have a zoom feature, zooming in, zooming out, all a matter of what you prefer. The auto dimming feature is noted with the symbol of a light bulb with the letter A inside. So it's going to be detecting headlights from traffic at the rear of the vehicle, and it will automatically dim for you. Press again. There's also an anti-glare feature, so we can turn that on, and you'll see the little star symbol up on the left-hand side, just indicating that you do have the anti-glare feature turned on. Press again to come back to our menu, and you have step-by-step instructions to set up your home link. You have 3 different home link buttons to link up garage door openers or a gate. Just press setup and then just use the button located under the item that you want. You can press continue and it's going to take you step by step for pairing your home link. We'll press to exit, come back to our menu, press again, and you have some language options for your instructions: English, Spanish, or French. Just toggle until you have the selection that you prefer. You can press the button to loop you back to the beginning of the menu, and after you don't operate it for long, it will just turn itself off. Notice on the top right-hand corner of the mirror, you'll see a small camera icon, just as a reminder that you're currently using the camera view for your digital rear view mirror. Of course, the biggest bonus for having a digital rear view mirror is that you're not going to see the headrests or rear cabin passengers like you will on the optical mirror view. And coming up to the controls on the ceiling of the vehicle. The buttons that you see here will vary depending on which package you have. All GXs will have touch-sensitive dome lights right at the top. Just touch for personal lights on each side, and make sure you have door mode turned on so that your lights will come on when you open a door. If you'd like to turn all of the dome lights on in the vehicle, just press this button and you'll see that you have lighting from front to back on the ceiling in the GX. And just press again to turn them off. Your GX comes with a complimentary trial for Safety Connect. That's your SOS button. It is behind a little door, so make sure that you open that door before pressing SOS if you need emergency or roadside assistance. If your GX has a panoramic glass moonroof, you'll see the open and close button on the left-hand side. That is for the shade for the moonroof. You can press to open and press to close. You can also do short presses if you would just like it to be open a little bit, and if it starts to really go back and you want to stop it, just press again. Nice and simple. So it's really easy to have it open or closed for the perfect amount for you. Keep in mind that this is fixed roof glass. It does not open. When you do not see a light on the dynamic sky button, that means you're not allowing the sky view to come through into the vehicle. If you'd like to see the sky, press the button, get the green light, and you have a beautiful view along the full roof line of your GX with dynamic sky. The panorama glass roof actually uses a low E coating to help reduce heat in the vehicle, and the dynamic sky feature, there is a special type of gas that is in between the panes of glass, and when you press the button, a small electrostatic charge interacts with the gas and it makes it look opaque. So cool. Want to see the sky? Press the button again. Some GX models have a traditional moonroof. You'll use the button here to open, and you'll see that the shade and glass will open, and you can touch the front part of the button where it says close. That's going to close the glass, but it will leave the shade open. You can also press to open a little bit more if you'd like, or just go ahead and manually pull the shade closed. If you do have the shade open and the glass closed, you can pop open this back section of the moonroof. Just press the button that says up, and you'll get some fresh air inside the vehicle. When you're ready to close it, you'll be bringing it down, so just press the button that says down. Now let's come down to the main screen. We're going to look at the optional 360 camera view monitoring system. We'll start with the vehicle in park. It does have a different view in drive, so we'll look at that next. You're going to locate the button here to the left of the main display. Just press the button and you'll see that view while in park come on screen. There is a see-through view, or click here to change to the overhead view if you prefer. So now apply the brake, shift into drive, and if your camera view is not on screen, push the camera view monitor button. And many people like to make sure that this comes on automatically, so make sure that you don't have a slash mark through the auto mode icon. Click where you see the camera icon with the letter A, no slash mark, and now you're in auto mode. So it will come on and off for you automatically when you slow down to come to a stop or if you're parking. Now let's look at the backup camera. Apply the brake, shift into reverse, and this is your backup camera view with the 360 monitor camera system. Click here on this backup camera lines button and you can change the lines that appear when you are reversing. Most people usually like to have the version with the dynamic yellow turn angle lines, but if you're towing in the GX, there's also an option where you can have not only the dynamic turn angle lines, but this bright green dashed dynamic center line. So that can be helpful if you're attaching a trailer and you're towing. If you activate multi-terrain select, you're going to have a more detailed view with a lot of other line indicators and some additional settings in the menu on the left-hand side. So when you look at all of these lines, just know that red lines mean you're about 6 inches or so from a bumper. Blue lines indicate the straightaway and an indication about clearance on the sides of the vehicle. When you turn the wheel, the yellow lines are going to indicate your intended path. And you can toggle through view options, including a see-through view that can be accessed just by pressing that button. If you need to get a better look at what the GX is about to drive over, and just toggle to change through those available views. Coming here, if you have a trailer or a hitch installed on the vehicle, this is going to help give you a view at the rear of the vehicle. Same thing when you are in reverse. Then you can just select to go back, coming back into drive. And if we access that rear view, you do need to click on the go back arrow to exit that view. And you'll see the auto mode icon and the settings gear icon. And we'll come back to our camera view. And if we come back to drive mode, you'll be back in your normal drive mode view. And without the 360 camera system, when you shift into reverse, this is your backup camera view. The menu buttons move from the left side of the screen to the bottom corners. And you can control the view just by clicking on the left button and the backup camera view lines by clicking on the right button. So now let's go over some important details about the Lexus interface system and really just how to know what's going on the main display. Let's talk about some system basics. There are multiple systems operating off of the main screen. Your phone's system, Apple CarPlay for an iPhone, and Android Auto for an Android phone. If you have your phone connected for Apple CarPlay, you'll see this icon at the top of the Lexus interface menu bar. If you have an Android phone connected for Android Auto, you'll see the Android Auto icon. In order to exit Android Auto, we need to come to our Apps menu, select Lexus, and you'll see the Lexus menu bar on the left-hand side with your Android Auto shortcut right at the top. These icons will reopen your phone's connected system if you leave that screen to go to a Lexus feature. So if you don't see the shortcut to your phone's operating system, it means that your profile is not connected or your permissions have not been turned on for that connection. If you don't see those icons, the top icon on the display will be the arrow for the Lexus Drive Connect navigation system. Drive Connect is the cloud-based Lexus navigation system that uses Google Points of Interest, and it updates automatically twice a month in the cloud. It does require a subscription after the trial period has ended. The Lexus Music Notes will open your Lexus audio system. The telephone icon will take you to different screens depending on how your phone is connected to the vehicle. So if your phone is connected for Apple CarPlay, you're going to see your phone displayed through the Apple CarPlay setup. Or just use voice commands with Siri. If you have your phone connected for Android Auto, it just takes 2 steps. Select the telephone icon from the Lexus menu, and then select the Android phone icon from the shortcut on the left-hand side. Or make it super easy and just use voice command. If your phone is connected for Bluetooth only, you'll see this screen. You can select the vehicle icon to come to the Vehicle Features menu. Keep in mind that this list is going to be different depending on the equipment or package on your GX. We are going to go through each one of these items. Some of them will be in much more detail because we have a lot of great features that are specific to the GX that you're going to be able to access here. If your GX has additional seat controls, you'll see seat controls at the top of this list. Select to open, and those features will be listed here. This GX has the front seat massage feature. So if we select massage, then we can select the seat that we would like to turn this on for. Just select the type of massage that you would like to use, and you'll see that the power will turn on automatically. You'll also see a graphic that lights up on the screen, giving you an indication of where those air bladders are going to expand and contract for the massage feature. Just tap to select, and you'll see that graphic light up on screen. You can also increase or decrease the sensitivity. The massage feature will operate for 15 minutes and then it will time out. If you would like to turn it off before that, you can just toggle the power from on to off. Something that I have noticed, if you would like to use the centripetal massage, even though it's already selected, you can turn it on in two different ways. Either select power to turn it on, or just touch again where it says centripetal right at the top, and then it will turn on for you. Selecting massage to go back, and select massage again here to make selections for the passenger side seat. Make sure that you actually have a passenger in the seat. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to turn it on or even change modes. But you can adjust the intensity so that when they do hop in and turn it on, the intensity level will be ready to go. And there's not any kind of extra indicator on the screen, but once you have a passenger in the seat, the weight sensor will know it, and then you can operate the massage feature for the passenger side. Just touch the toggle for power or have them select the type of massage that they prefer. Pretty awesome. Selecting massage to go back and vehicle to go back. When you open Driving Assist, you'll see a variety of safety features here depending on the equipment on your vehicle. This is just a quick way to turn a feature off or on. And then let's take a look at Safe Exit Assist. The Safe Exit Assist feature on the GX is a little bit different than what you may have seen on some other Lexus models. That's because the GX is not equipped with a digital latch style door handle. So if you do open a door and the system determines that there could be oncoming or crossing traffic, you will get a watch for traffic warning.
Watch for traffic.
But the system is not going to hold the door in place for you. So just be aware if there are bicyclists or vehicles that are moving along beside your GX on either side, you do want to be careful before opening the door into that oncoming traffic. Select vehicle to come back. Trip information. You can review your current trip information regarding fuel economy or clear the data. And if you select history, you'll see historic information, including a previous best. You can clear data here and also update if you prefer. Selecting current and selecting vehicle to come back. Then open the off-road information screen. And before we go into details about this, it's good to know that some GX models are equipped with the optional EKDSS suspension system. That stands for the Electronic Kinetic Dynamic Suspension System. The system will now electronically control the stabilizers in response to road conditions, whether you're driving off-road or on. It also helps to maintain stability during a curve, and it adds to the ride comfort and stability. The EKDSS system has adjustments that are optimized for each drive mode when you're using the drive mode feature or the multi-terrain select feature. Now let's look at the off-road information screen. This screen works in conjunction with the off-road features and drive mode buttons and controls on the lower center console. We're going to be working with the main screen, information on the multi-information display, and the buttons on the lower center console. There are a couple of different layouts for the controls on the lower console, depending on the equipment on your vehicle. Let's start with our mode selector. With the drive mode selected, use the mode select dial and just turn either left or right, and you're going to see a list of drive modes appear. The modes you see will vary depending upon whether or not your GX is equipped with an adaptive variable suspension system. Each time you change drive modes, you're going to see a color theme change on your multi-information display, and most drive modes will have the drive mode name appear here. You'll see the name of the drive mode you're currently in on the main display. So I'm going to turn the mode selector to the left and choose Comfort. So you'll see the Comfort theme name written out in green on the lower left-hand corner, and you'll see the color theme change and the Comfort name on the main display. And the same is going to be true with each drive mode theme change. So twisting the drive mode selector to the left, we have Eco theme name on the left, the color theme change, Eco theme name on our main display. Turning to the right, we come back to Comfort, to the right again, back to normal, and we'll see our normal color layout that we're used to seeing. But make sure to note that you will not see the word normal for the normal drive mode theme name on the multi-information display. You will see it on the main screen if you have the off-road information screen open. So this is the only drive mode theme name that does not appear in this section of your multi-information display. And now let's turn to the right again, and we have Sport S. So we're going to see the Sport S theme name on the bottom left, and we're going to see some red brought into that color theme, Sport S listed on the main screen. Turning that dial to the right, we go to Sport S Plus, theme name on the bottom left-hand corner, and Sport S Plus on the main display. Turning the dial to the right one more time, and we come to Custom. Custom will still show the custom theme name on the left-hand side. There's not a specific lighting theme layout like we saw on some of the other drive mode themes. You'll see the custom theme name also on the main display here. In order to customize the custom drive mode, we need to come to Settings, scroll down to Vehicle Customize, then scroll down to Open Custom Drive Mode. And these are all the items that we can customize and save to the custom drive mode selection. Powertrain can be customized to a power, normal, or eco setting. The suspension system can be customized to a sporty feel, so you would choose Sport, or leave it in normal, or select Comfort for a softer ride. You can change the steering selection for a sport feel, or leave it in normal. And you can choose normal or eco for the air conditioning system. Just make your changes and select OK, and then come back to Vehicle Features and Off-Road Information to return to our previous screen view. If your GX has second start, ECT, which stands for Electronically Controlled Transmission, it can be good in deeper, slippery snow when you're accelerating or driving on a very slippery road surface. You'll see the drive mode name turn off on the main display, and you won't see a drive mode name on the multi-information display, but you will see second start in orange here. And you can either press the ECT second start button again to turn the feature off, or just press the drive mode button and that will turn off second start as well. Before we jump into the next few sections, please note that the additional off-roading features are for serious off-roading and not for normal day-to-day driving. In fact, the GX is so well equipped as a full-time four-wheel drive vehicle that under most circumstances, you won't ever even need to leave high 4, the normal driving mode, or change any of the settings out of their auto mode. So feel free to use the index to skip ahead. You may want to skip ahead to the what happens if you accidentally engage 4 low section, or you can skip over to the tow haul button section if you plan to do any towing, or just jump to the tire pressure monitor section and skip all of the heavy duty 4-wheel drive details. And if your GX has MTS, Multi-Terrain Select, press to activate those controls. And if your multi-terrain monitor has turned on, go ahead and click the X at the top left to turn off the camera view on your main display. You'll see some screens pop up for you, and this is very similar. So we see auto for multi-terrain select. Take a look at our multi-information display. When we change from regular drive mode selection to the multi-terrain selection, we see the multi-terrain select icon on the left-hand side in green, and we see those multi-terrain select modes. These are the modes available in High 4, the H4 selection, and we'll check out what's available in Low 4 in just a bit. It's going to default you to auto, but now if we use that mode selector, your mode select dial will operate the multi-terrain select feature. I'm twisting to the right and I'm changing from auto to dirt. You'll see that beautiful graphic on your multi-information display. The icon will change on the left-hand side for the surface that you've selected. And then on your main screen, you'll see really cool graphics and you'll see the name of the terrain selection that you've chosen. Turn the dial to the right again, and we go from dirt to sand. Our graphics change, our terrain icon changes. And in some of the multi-terrain modes, you'll see that some of the traction and safety systems will be temporarily unavailable. That is normal for that particular surface so that the GX can monitor the amount of wheel slip and traction needed for specific terrains without having the safety features engage. And on our main display, we'll see the same things. Turn to the right again, and we come to mud. Same thing, icon change, amazing graphics on both screens. And in High 4, we have one more option, which is deep snow. So you'll see the graphics, you'll see the icon representing deep snow, and on the right-hand side, you'll see the graphics change and the name of the terrain that you've selected. You can also just choose to leave the system in auto. When the system is in auto, the systems on the vehicle will work together to detect what type of terrain you're driving on and make changes accordingly. So keep in mind, this was High 4 only. L4 or 4 low is for off-road driving on very rugged terrain or heavy hauling at low speeds. That's why 4 low is required for some of these more advanced heavy-duty off-road features on the GX. Otherwise, just keep the vehicle in High 4 for regular driving. So now let's shift to Low 4 because you do have some different terrain options in Low 4. So we're going to apply the brake, shift into neutral, push down and toggle down from High 4 to Low 4. So here we are, we're in Low 4. We have all kinds of information popping up on our display because it needs to disable a lot of different things in order for us to take advantage of these off-road features. If your multi-terrain monitor has turned on, for the purposes of this tutorial, go ahead and click the X at the top left to turn off the camera view and come back to the off-road information screen. When you shift into Low 4, you'll see that indicated here. If you try to engage Low 4 and you have not shifted into neutral, this is what you're going to hear. Press down, come back to High 4, shift the GX into neutral. Then you can engage Low 4. Press down and toggle down. Let's look at the other terrain selections that you have available in Low 4. So you still have an auto mode. I'm going to turn the dial and we'll move from auto to sand and mud and rock. So rock is only available in Low 4 multi-terrain select. And if you'd like to come back to auto, just keep twisting to the left until you're back in auto mode. Keep in mind that Low 4 is really for off-road driving. So you'll see that the pre-collision system is off, traction control is off, parking support brake is off. lots of messages making sure that you've selected low 4 intentionally, which I would imagine you did because you would need to be in neutral to make that selection. All GX 550s have a locking center differential button located here by the high-low four-wheel drive speed selector. And depending on the equipment on your GX, you may also have another button here. That is a rear locking differential button. The center differential lock button is not something that you usually need to use very often. It's really for difficult situations. For example, you could use the locking center differential if the vehicle's wheels were to get stuck, like in a ditch, or if you were driving on very slippery or bumpy surfaces. When you lock the center differential, it's going to give your GX a 50-50 power split to the wheels. That means half of the power at the front and half at the rear. When you lock the rear differential, that splits the rear power half and half from one side of the vehicle to the other. So if one wheel is off the ground and spinning with no traction, the other wheel will still have power and help you to be able to maneuver out of that difficult situation. The center differential can be turned on from park, neutral, or drive. Make sure the vehicle has come to a complete stop. Now, just press the center differential lock button. You can see the lock icon on the main screen. You'll also see the center differential lock icon on the lower left-hand corner of the multi-information display. You can use the center differential lock as long as the vehicle is traveling less than 62 miles per hour, which means you would still be in the high 4 mode. If you change to the low 4 mode for four-wheel drive, you'll see the low 4 icon showing in gold on the left-hand side of the multi-information display. You'll also see messages about vehicle stability control, the pre-collision braking system, and the parking support brake turned off. And you'll see icons on the right-hand side just confirming that there are certain safety features that have been disabled while you're driving in this 4-low mode. The center differential lock can be turned on in high 4 or low 4, but the rear differential lock can only be accessed in low 4. Once you've engaged 4 low and you've turned on the center differential lock, then you can activate the rear differential lock. So just press that button and you'll see a red lock icon added to these icons on the lower left-hand side of the multi-information display. And come back to the off-road information screen. We'll see that we are in L4 for low 4, and we have activated both the center differential lock and the rear differential lock. So keep in mind that when you're activating these systems, you're going to hear these mechanisms engage. And if you don't activate something in the right order, you'll hear an alert. To turn off the rear differential lock, just press the button and it will turn the lock off. You'll see the lock icon removed from the lower left corner on your multi-information display. And from the main display, if you have your off-road information screen on. To turn the center differential lock off, just press the button. The icon will flash and then clear from your display. If the icon continues to flash repeatedly, make sure the vehicle is at a complete stop and shift into neutral, and then press the button again. And the icon will clear from your display, disengaging that lock mechanism on the center differential. And you'll see the lock icon is clear from the main display and the multi-information display. Another feature that can be activated in low 4 is crawl control. You'll turn it off and on with the DAC crawl button. Crawl is used in low 4, and DAC, downhill assist, control is used in high 4. So since we are already in low 4, let's look at crawl control. When you are driving in low 4, you can engage crawl control. Just press the button. You're going to see crawl control information on the main display and a really cool graphic on your multi-information display. You'll see the crawl control icon on the left-hand side. And then when you use that mode select dial, instead of seeing theme names, you're going to see the speed selector. So you can choose from low all the way up to high, because in crawl control, you are basically monitoring your steering. You're going to choose your speed with the mode selector. You cannot go very fast in crawl control. Crawl control is about trying to maintain stability and take advantage of this very agile suspension system on the GX. If you really want to use the crawl control feature, there are 5 different levels. You may want to consider trying it out on a flat road surface, just so that you can get a feel for the different speeds before using it off-road. So we would push the button again to turn off or deactivate crawl control. Right now we are in drive. If you're in park and you try to turn on crawl control, it's going to tell you it's unavailable. See the owner's manual. What that means is you cannot activate crawl control while you're in park. You would need to be in drive, and then you can turn on crawl control. Crawl control can automatically be canceled if you accelerate above 6 miles per hour, if you shift from gear to neutral or park, or if you try to change from low 4 to high 4. Crawl control will also automatically turn off if the driver's door is opened. So make sure to use your multi-terrain monitor to see what's going on around your vehicle rather than opening the driver's door to check. But if you do need to open the driver's door, just follow all of your safety best practices and then re-engage crawl control once you've closed the driver's door. I'm going to shift into neutral. And because I did not deactivate crawl control, it kind of yelled at me a little bit, and then it deactivated it for me. So if you were going to do that in the right order, with crawl control activated before you shift out of drive, push the button to turn off crawl control, then shift into neutral. Then let's come to high 4. So we're no longer in low 4. And in high 4, we can use the DAC feature with this same button, and that's our downhill assist control. Downhill assist control does exactly what it says it's going to do. It's going to assist you on a steep downhill slope. This system is going to operate if the vehicle is traveling under 18 miles per hour. You must be in high 4, and you will not be applying the accelerator or the brake, but hover your foot near the pedals in case you need to take over. If you aren't in drive and you press the DAC button, you'll see the downhill assist control icon flash on the left-hand side of the multi-information display. Just shift into drive and the icon will stop flashing and downhill assist control will be active. And once again, we are seeing a speed control that's going to be operated by our mode selector. So start turning that dial to the right, and that speed control is going to show up in our multi-information display and our main display. So we can go from about 2 miles an hour to about 18 miles per hour with our speed selector for downhill assist control. When we are ready to turn everything off, we are going to deactivate downhill assist control just by pressing that button. And when you're ready, you can shift the vehicle back to park. You can also monitor the degree of incline on the off-road information screen. You'll see the pitch and roll monitor here. You'll see degrees of incline to the front and rear of the vehicle, and the lower section shows the degree of incline from the left to the right. This information can also show on the multi-information display depending on your screen selection and on the multi-terrain monitor view. Taking a look at these two buttons, traction control off and tow haul are only available in high 4. The top item is traction control off. If you press that, you'll be turning off the traction control system. You're not going to have a message on the main display, but you will see traction control turned off on the multi-information display. If your vehicle is in low 4, traction control is already turned off. So there is no need to press the traction control off button. If you've pressed the traction control off button and you see that message on the multi-information display, you can use the go back button on the left-hand side of the steering wheel to clear that message. But after a few moments, it's going to reappear just to make sure that you realize that you have turned off traction control when you're not using any of the other off-road type features that would require traction control to be turned off. So the system here is guessing that it may have been turned off by mistake. If you have turned it off intentionally, you'll need to just ignore this message. Otherwise, press the button again to turn traction control back on. The tow haul feature should be used whenever you're pulling a trailer or a heavy load. You will need to be in high 4, and then you can press the tow haul button to turn it on. Tow haul will adjust the engine, transmission, and steering to perform best whenever you're pulling a trailer. If you've selected a different drive mode, if you turn on the tow haul feature, so you'll see that tow haul is on, the drive mode that you selected has been deactivated because you are selecting a towing or hauling mode. When you turn off the tow haul feature, you're going to come back to the normal drive mode. So if you've made a drive mode selection, you're going to want to reselect it just by turning the mode select dial. So if you have the system in low 4 and you press the tow haul button, you're going to see this message: transfer in L4, tow haul mode unavailable. So with the vehicle in neutral, shift back to high 4, then press the tow haul button. You'll see tow haul in green on the lower left-hand corner, and you will have engaged the tow haul feature. Just press again to turn it off. One last important detail for towing is tucked here on the lower right section of the dash. This is the gain control for trailer braking with a trailer that has compatible electric brakes. And once you have your hitch installed, attach your trailer and connect the 7-pin cable. If your trailer is equipped with trailer braking, go ahead and make the brake type selection on the main screen. You'll do that by going to Settings, Vehicle Customize, Utility, and Brake Type. You want to make sure to select the brake type for your trailer. Make your selection and then press OK. Next, you're going to need to adjust the gain to the midpoint. Make sure to note that you do need to have a trailer with compatible electric brakes connected to the system to be able to adjust the gain. Without that, the readout will look blank, or if you start pressing buttons, you're going to get a variety of messages like trailer brake control off or trailer disconnected. When you're ready to adjust the gain, you do need to locate the trailer brake monitor screen on your multi-information display. Use the left or right arrows to scroll through the 3 different pages and see if one of your pages includes the trailer braking screen. If not, then you're going to customize a page to include that. So just choose the page that you would like to customize, push and hold OK, and then you need to move either to the left side or to the right side to make this customization. So just choose which side you'd like and scroll through the list and just keep going up or down until you get to trailer brake. Then push the Go Back button to exit customization. Now when you plug in a compatible wiring harness to the 7-pin connector, you'll see gain information here. Press the plus or minus buttons to increase or decrease until you see that you're at 5. Then you need to be prepared to drive for a few minutes at 25 miles an hour while you adjust the feel and fine-tune the car's brakes with the trailer's electric brakes. You can pinch slowly to feel the trailer brakes only. Then slowly release, and then you're going to use the plus and minus, those gain buttons, to make an adjustment to that braking feel. This is going to vary based on what you're hauling, your trailer setup, the road surface you're driving on. There's all kinds of different conditions that can impact how you may increase or decrease trailer braking. I am by no means a trailer or hauling expert, so please make sure to consult an expert in your area for additional information about using a trailer with your GX. Some GX models have a trailer sway control system. This is for vehicles with a tow hitch. This system is able to detect trailer sway early and suppress it by using the trailer brake control system to operate the trailer brakes and try to help bring that trailer back into a balanced, stable towing position. Selecting vehicle to come back to our vehicle features menu and scrolling down and opening tire pressure. You'll see the tire pressure indication for your 4 main tires and the spare tire. Opening vehicle alerts, and if there are alerts for the vehicle, they will typically be service related and they will appear here. Click on the settings gear to open your Lexus settings menu. Throughout the video, we explore important settings for your profile, Bluetooth, trailer brakes, and more. But I do go into each setting in detail in my Lexus Interface Deep Dive. Check below for the link. Now let's take a look at these icons on the top right-hand corner of the screen. If your vehicle has a wireless charger, you'll see the Qi wireless charger icon. When it appears in gray, it's not charging, but when you place a compatible wireless phone onto the charging pad, you'll see that icon light up in blue. You may also see messages about charging starting and stopping. You'll also see a DCM icon. It looks a little bit like a satellite symbol. That's actually indicating the connection for your vehicle to the cloud and the system that pulls in all of the details for Lexus Interface, especially your connected services like Drive Connect. The Bluetooth symbol will appear gray unless you have your phone connected for Bluetooth only. The Bluetooth icon is clickable and it shortcuts you to the Bluetooth and devices settings menu. When you change to a Bluetooth only phone connection, the Bluetooth icon is going to change from gray to blue, and it will let you know which phone is connected, and you'll have 2 additional icons appear on screen. You'll see the battery level for your cell phone and the bars of service for the area where you are at that time. If you change your connection back to Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, the Bluetooth icon will go back to gray, and the bars of service will appear in your phone's connected system screen. The clock is also clickable. If you click the clock, it will shortcut you to the clock settings menu. Let's look at some of the basics for our climate control system. The most common questions I get about this new climate control system is, why don't I see things like arrows for the airflow mode or an indicator light over the AC compressor button? Well, that's how they have set up the new version of Auto for climate control. Some things will say the word auto, and others will just not have an indicator. They'll just be on. And if you start pressing on those buttons, you'll turn off the auto mode and take over for manual control. So my biggest tip about all of this is not to click on the AC compressor button, because you could actually end up turning off your AC compressor, unless that's what you want to do. Here in Texas, we usually leave that on. But even if you do turn it off, the AC compressor is usually going to go back into that auto on mode when you turn the GX off and back on. The heated and ventilated front seats also have an auto mode. The first press of either heat or fan will turn on the auto mode. The heated steering wheel operates in a similar way. The first press turns on auto, the second press will be high, then click again for low, and again for off. Driver side temperature dial, passenger side temperature dial, and we can sync our temperatures. You do have auto modes for all of the different components in the climate control system. I go into that in detail in the interface deep dive. I want to make sure that you know you can control the rear cabin climate by clicking where it says front or rear, and that will toggle you from the front controls to the rear controls. If you don't see a temperature at all, it means the rear climate system is turned off. You can turn the system on just by clicking on the fan control. So just click the plus, or just start to adjust the fan by touching and holding that fan icon on screen. Once you have the system turned on, then you'll see a temperature readout here, and that means you're controlling the temperature for the rear cabin. So you see the rear highlighted in white. There's not a temperature on the passenger side. And then you're adjusting that rear climate control specifically. You can also adjust their airflow mode, and you can even put the rear climate system into auto. And just like we looked at the front, when you put that in auto, your fan speed indicator will be a solid line, and you will not see airflow mode arrows for the direction that the air is flowing. If you want to take over, just start adjusting the fan manually and do the same for the airflow mode. When you're ready to turn it off, just select rear off. The system will turn off and you won't see a rear climate temperature in that driver's side dial. You can click to come back to the front controls, or just let it automatically come back to them for you. And you have additional climate controls on this tab, and we'll go into these in the deep dive. We can click to close. Coming down for our front defogger or defroster, just press the button to turn it on. And you also have a rear window and side mirror defogger or defroster. Just press to turn it off or on. And a really important detail for climate, if you have turned on the cool box underneath the armrest, you're not able to turn off the climate control because it's using the AC compressor to maintain the cool temperature in that cool box. Press to turn it off. Then you can turn the climate control off on the GX. Now click to open our little ice cube tray. This is our little shortcut menu. It's a great spot to turn on or off frequently used items. So these items are going to vary depending on what you've been using. You'll see dots here indicating that there are multiple pages. Just swipe for some head-up display controls if your GX has the head-up display, and then swipe again to see the driving assist screens. The driving assist on-off information is split between two screens. Just swipe from one screen to the next and turn on or off those driving assist features that we saw before. Just click to close or allow the system to time out. Coming down to our air conditioning vents, and it looks like this is part of the adjustment. It's not. You actually adjust the angle of the vent with this piece, and you can slide left or right. It's the same on both sides, so just lift up or down, and you can open or close the vents with these dials. And nested right in the middle are the hazard lights. Just press to turn them off or on. And let's look at the other features on the lower console. There are two USB-C ports. One is for charging only. The other is for charging and data. That means you can plug in for tethered Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. There is also a 12-volt charger located just behind this little door. Just press again to close. This is a nice area to rest your phone. And if you open the cup holders, this lip of the cup holder cover actually does help to hold your phone in place a little bit. But if you're going off-roading or something like that, make sure to tuck your phone away because there's not really enough grip in this section to hold a phone in place. The GX does have the square cup holder configuration, and it's pretty compatible for different size cups. It's not something that pulls apart like you've seen on the TX where the square cup holders are removable. These are fixed in place. You can remove the lower rubber pads if you need to give them a deep clean. Coming over to our electronic parking brake. The electronic parking brake is automatic, and when you look at your multi-information display, you'll see the word park on the right-hand side when the parking brake is engaged. But if you would like to manually control it, you can apply the foot brake and then press down, and it will turn off the parking brake. If you press down and hold, you'll hear a slight beep, and it will tell you that the electronic parking brake shift interlock function deactivated. A lot of words just to say you've turned off the auto feature for the parking brake. If you are manually operating the parking brake and you'd like to turn it back on, apply the foot brake, lift up, and the parking brake is applied. Lift up and hold, and the automatic parking brake has been reactivated. That's the shift interlock function. That means that when we shift into or out of park, the parking brake will operate. Now let's take a look at the brake hold feature. The brake hold feature holds your foot brake when you're in drive and you've come to a complete stop. Make sure you have your seatbelt on. Brake hold can be turned on from park or in gear. Just press the button and you'll see the brake hold icon light up in green. When brake hold is on, apply the foot brake, shift the GX into drive. If you come to a complete stop, you'll see the word hold in gold. That means the system is holding your foot brake for you. We can actually remove our foot from the foot brake. The GX is holding in place, and if you have your brake light display turned on in the settings, you'll actually see those tail light indicators on your multi-information display. So then when you're ready to drive again, because I am in drive, you'll see D for drive, but hold in gold. Brake hold is holding my foot brake for me. When I'm ready to drive, all I need to do is apply the accelerator. And here you'll either see a small storage spot or the optional wireless charging pad. The light will be green, letting you know that the charging pad is on and ready. You do need to have a compatible phone and make sure the case is not too thick. The back of the phone does need to have contact with the charging pad for it to be able to charge the phone. When you place a compatible phone on the charger and it's making good contact with the charging pad, you'll see the light change to a yellow and you'll have a message on your main display telling you that charging has started. You'll also see that Qi wireless charger icon light up in blue. Some phones are a little big, so it's not possible to see the light underneath, but you should see a charging indication on the phone itself and on your main display. So some of the larger phones, especially iPhones that have camera lenses that sit up kind of high, sometimes it's harder for them to make good contact with the charging pad. So you may need to adjust the phone or even change the position so that it makes better contact and you're able to wirelessly charge. Keep in mind that the charging pad is also more of a maintenance charge. So if you need to really charge up your phone, come back up here and use that USB-C fast charger. Now let's take a look at the center armrest. You can open up the armrest, just give a little squeeze at the front, and you'll either have a storage area below the armrest or the optional cool box. You do need to press the button to turn the cool box on. You will hear it. It does blow cool air and it is powered by the climate control system. So the vehicle does need to be on. When you close the lid, it's really quiet. So if you take a look along this horizontal dash, for the driver, it gives you really great visibility. And for the front passenger, you have a really spacious feel to the cabin. Did you also know this area is actually recessed? So if you do go off-roading, make sure that you haven't stored anything in this little pocket. And if you're in a really hairy off-roading situation, you may notice your passenger grab on right here. But everybody does have an oh my goodness handle that can also help you get up and in to the GX because there's one located at each door opening. Whew, we did it. That is so much information, but since we have been all over this GX, if I missed something, I apologize, and please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you all so much for visiting the Lexus Virtual Classroom. We'll see you next time. And of course, thank you so much to my colleague Caleb for being gracious enough to let me borrow his GX for filming, Superstar Parts Manager Ramon for lending a hand and his expertise about the optional luggage cover, and of course, a huge shout out to the Dillons for their eagle eye editing suggestions and the whole Lexus Inner Circle crew for all of your support.